Dr. Intan.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this bill. Last reviewed in 2012, the amendments to the Employment Act are much needed, given that there are now many more professionals, managers and executives or PMEs. In addition, the establishment of the Employment Claims Tribunal, which oversees salary-related disputes and claims, as well as incidents of wrongful dismissal, means that there needs to be greater clarity in defining employee benefits and what constitutes wrongful dismissals. First and foremost, the move to do away with the $4,500 salary cap for protection under the Employment Act is very much welcome. This move will result in more than 430,000 PMEs who will benefit through greater protection under the Employment Act. This is not a small number and is likely to increase, given that more Singaporeans are taking on professional, managerial and executive positions in multinational corporations, small and medium enterprises, and even startup companies that are able to pay relatively well. In addition, as more of our young Singaporeans become trained for the industry, their salaries will start to grow and remain competitive. Hence, being able to provide employment protection for them under the Employment Act is very much welcome and needed. Second, I strongly support the move to provide all employees annual leave of 7 to 14 days. Annual leave is an established industry norm, and it is quite disconcerting that even as of now, there are still a substantial number among us who work without any annual leave provision. While I welcome this annual leave provision, I question the change to provide only the 7 to 14 days of annual leave to all employees, and not the one-year carry forward of unused annual leave to all employees as well. There are those among us who work industriously throughout the year when we are still able and healthy, but who may decide to accumulate our annual leave for a much anticipated and much saved up family holiday or religious pilgrimage in the following year. While I understand that such changes for employers to provide both annual leave and carry forward of unused annual leave to the following year can cause significant impact to employers' manpower and budget planning, I urge the Ministry to consider extending the one-year carry forward of unused annual leave to all employees as well. Even if this extension cannot be made in this round of amendments to the Employment Act, I urge the Ministry to consider making this change in the near future. Third, I strongly support the move to better clarify what constitutes wrongful dismissal that may require dispute resolution. While I do not have the statistics on hand, anecdotally, I have met residents who have lamented about their discontent with and perception of their former employers for having dismissed them because of some form of discrimination, whether perceived or otherwise, because of pregnancy or maternity leave to be taken, disputes arising out of work-related performance bonus, or even claims of forced resignation. I recall an incident where a resident was aggrieved that her former employer managed to persuade her to tender her resignation through veiled threats and manipulation. It was only after she tendered her resignation and talked to friends that she realized she was manipulated and forced to resign, when she could have reported the matter to the Ministry of Manpower instead. With the establishment of the ECT and this round of amendments to provide greater clarity on wrongful dismissal, aggrieved employees can at least seek redress and an avenue for investigation into their claims of wrongful dismissal, including that for forced resignation. Fourth, I welcome the move to accept medical certificates from all medical practitioners registered under the Medical Registration Act when employees apply for medical leave. From what I understand, this provision has not been amended since 1968, and 50 years is too long to have waited to make changes to this provision. While there may have been instances of forged or fictitious medical certificates, I believe these are few and far in between now. I trust that our medical practitioners have integrity and will issue medical certificates only when necessary. This amendment to recognize and accept all medical certificates will provide greater flexibility for employees who are unwell to see a medical practitioner nearest to their homes for medication and to be given medical leave to recover. However, can this provision also include traditional Chinese medicine or TCM practitioners who are registered with the Traditional Chinese Medicine Practitioners Board? There are increasingly more who prefer to get help from TCM practitioners for their ailments, such as frozen shoulders, plantar fasciitis, or even back pains, which can significantly affect work performance. These ailments may not have immediate cure through medication, but with consistent TCM treatments, much relief can be achieved. Fifth, I am heartened that within this round of amendments, there is a provision for the Minister to make regulations that protect employees' entitlements and well-being, and protect them from undesirable employment practices that manipulate, in particular, low-wage and menial work employees. I support the need to protect employees from unknowingly signing predated salary vouchers or the need to protect them from being subjected to salary clawbacks from their employers, for instance. Here, I seek the Ministry to clarify if and how salary clawbacks, for example, can be regulated so as to better protect employees. Interestingly, a Business Insider article dated 28 August this year declared that following employee misconduct or declining profits, salary clawback clauses in employment contracts are, I quote, on the rise among Fortune 100 companies, increasing by 79% from 2005 to 2010, close quote. Have there been cases or complaints of employment contracts that have included salary clawback clauses? And out of these, how many have been couched as disincentives for misconduct or poor performance or declining business profits? How many actual cases of salary clawbacks have been reported to the Ministry, even though the original employment contracts have not included such clauses? I also refer to Minister's written reply to my parliamentary question for yesterday's sitting regarding the overinflation of salaries compared to the actual payment of salaries. This is similar to salary clawbacks. While the number of cases reported accounts for only 0.2% of the workforce, the absolute numbers are about 8,300 cases annually, which is quite a substantial number. I am most concerned about the proportionately larger numbers of rank-and-file workers, more than 8 in 10 of such workers who have been subjected to this form of salary clawback. I hope the Ministry will make further amendments to the Employment Act or tighten regulations regarding overinflation of salaries declared or salary clawbacks, and take stricter actions on employers who take advantage of their employees in this manner, particularly rank-and-file workers. At this juncture, Mr. Deputy Speaker, please allow me to continue in Malay. Masih lagi pada topik melindungi kesejahteraan para pekerja, saya ingin merayu kepada Menteri agar menimbang keperluan bagi setiap syarikat, pertubuhan atau bangunan yang mengambil khidmat luaran atau penyumber luaran atau outsourcing bagi khidmat pembersihan, penghantaran dan keselamatan untuk menyediakan kawasan dan tempat rehat khas bagi para pekerja pembersihan, pekerja penghantaran cepat atau dispatch rider, dan pegawai keselamatan. Kerap kali kita melihat para pekerja pembersihan atau penghantaran cepat dan pegawai keselamatan yang tidak mempunyai tempat rehat khas dan yang sesuai. Ini semata-mata kerana mereka bukanlah pekerja pengambilan langsung bagi syarikat, pertubuhan atau bangunan tertentu itu. Dan walaupun mereka harus bekerja berterusan berjam-jam seharian tanpa berduduk atau berehat. Bila tiba waktu untuk makan atau bila mereka ingin berehat seketika, mereka seringkali mencari sudut di tempat letak kereta di tingkat bawah tanah atau di pusat atau kawasan pengumpulan sampah. Tempat-tempat ini bukanlah yang paling sesuai atau bersih untuk makan dan berehat. Saya yakin kita boleh memberi persekitaran dan keadaan yang lebih baik bagi para pekerja pembersihan atau penghantaran cepat dan pegawai keselamatan kita, walaupun mereka adalah kerja khidmat luaran dan bukan pekerja pengambilan langsung bagi syarikat, pertubuhan atau bangunan tertentu itu. Menyediakan kawasan dan tempat rehat khas bagi para pekerja pembersihan atau penghantaran cepat dan pegawai keselamatan kita tidak akan memerlukan perbelanjaan yang tinggi. Kawasan yang berteduh, berudara dan terang dan yang disediakan meja dan kerusi, itu sahaja yang diperlukan. Oleh itu, saya ingin merayu kepada Menteri agar kawasan dan tempat rehat khas bagi para pekerja khidmat luaran harus disediakan bagi setiap syarikat pertubuhan dan bangunan yang mengambil para pekerja dan pegawai khidmat sedemikian dalam pindaan akta pekerjaan seterusnya. In conclusion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Sir, I am heartened by and supportive of the many significant changes to the Employment Act through this amendment bill. Nonetheless, I hope the Ministry will seriously consider the few recommendations I've made. Notwithstanding the questions I've posed and the further recommendations made, I stand in support of the bill.